Well, buckle up your seatbelts, my friends. Things are about to get turned up a notch. Hi guys, I'm Jeremy Bout, the host, producer, and founder of Edge Factor. I'm a filmmaker and an entrepreneur, and I love things fast-paced. I love jumping on a plane and heading to a community, working with my team to tell stories of people who are pushing back the edge of what's possible. I feel at home with them because anyone in the workforce today will tell you that things are changing, and they're changing pretty fast. We often hear about being future ready, technology of the future, so on and so forth. In this session, I want to explore this idea of being future-proof. With the skills of the future, I want us to learn through the lens, because at Edge Factor, it all begins with a good story.
We want to work smarter, not harder. Globally, labor productivity has increased. We're working to create inclusive and sustainable economic growth, which can drive progress. How does augmented reality fit in? In an effort to better feed his troops on long journeys across the European continent, Napoleon offered up 12,000 francs to the person who could invent a method for preserving food. By 1810, French confectioner Nicolas Appert won the prize with the first method of canning food in glass jars. Food processing techniques like canning and refrigeration can greatly extend the length of time before food spoils. Since 1978, Ledestri Food and Drink has been working to revolutionize the cooking and bottling of their food and beverage products, harnessing new technology to increase efficiency.
When I started, we were doing small products. We were paper records and printed charts. Now we've evolved into we're data collecting over servers. We're displaying things on iPads, even to the point where we can push it to people's cell phones on the floor.
Ledestri processes 600 jars a minute, 24/7. They use cutting-edge technology like augmented reality in order to keep the production line running smoothly.
So it used to be that we would fly in a technician from the company that built our machines to help us solve problems, and that could take up to 2 to 3 days to get a technician to arrive. Now with the use of augmented reality, we can call up the company and they have someone on standby that we can use to help troubleshoot through a Google Glass or a way for them to porting into our machines and supporting us 24/7.
Augmented reality has shortened shutdown times for Ledestri. Now, machine experts from anywhere in the world can almost instantly diagnose problems and help fix equipment.
We're constantly growing, we're constantly adding here, and 5 years from now, we could be doing a completely different process that's unheard of today. And just that alone excites me to see what we're gonna bring on board and where we're gonna go from here.
Great tasting food, properly processed and made to last. Fast, efficient production lines using augmented reality to keep things running smoothly. The food processing industry is drastically changing as new technology merges with careers. What skills will the future demand? Machines that order their own replacement parts and know when something is wearing or likely to break down. Machines that can maintain themselves and are able to identify exactly what needs repairing and guide the operator through the exact procedure to fix it, bringing production downtime to a minimum. Humans and computer-controlled machines working together in symbiosis, merging the digital world with its vast quantities of valuable information with the physical one, streamlining our work and our processes and pushing us ever closer to excellence.
To say that you want to be future-proof is actually a bit of an oxymoron. To actually be future-proof, you need to have skills that will help you face the challenges that the future will spring on you. I don't know if that actually might seem daunting, but I want to walk this out with you. I want to set your mind at ease. I want to give you some action items that will help you step forward confidently into the Wild West that is the future. And I'm going to do that by giving you some key takeaways. Let's start with this. Practical knowledge will save your butt, literally. As my friend Tony Neary once said to me, hands-on doesn't mean minds off. And I totally saw this was true. When we created the film, Charging Up, I traveled with a group of students who had built their own car that was battery powered, and they raced it from Texas to Minnesota, and it was wild, crazy, and I loved it.
Tyler's family had seen their share of difficulties. After losing everything they owned, even being homeless and living in a tent for a time, they made their way back to New York State to move back in with family. The move to Ulster County introduced Tyler to a high school manufacturing program that allowed him to learn Mastercam, as well as program CNC machines. When Tyler was asked if he was interested in joining a team of students building a solar car, he jumped at the opportunity to use his newfound skills. The team welded the frame, machined the wheel hubs, built the seats, and prepared the car to be raced in a student competition. The goal was to have a trailer with solar panels that would charge the car in a race that spanned from Texas Motor Speedway to Minneapolis, Minnesota. The team successfully dealt with the extreme heat, battery failures, and thunderstorms to eventually complete the race. And for Tyler and his teammates, this journey was so much more than just a race. It was a unified effort that gave them the opportunity to deal with real-world pressures, problem solving, and team dynamics. The skill of programming in Mastercam and the other tools that they learned along the way continue to open up opportunities for Tyler, as well as his teammates.
So let's stop and marvel for a minute about what we just witnessed here. A group of students, with the help of a dedicated teacher, built a car with their own hands, designed a solar assembly, they raced it from Texas to Minnesota, and if that wasn't enough, they did it while yet in high school. But let's also take a look at Tyler. He was a young black man, not from an affluent family, even facing a bit of pressure to help support his family from a pretty young age. You know, statistically speaking, he was likely to slip between the cracks, but he was given a gift. The gift of practical knowledge. The gift of knowing that his mind, connected with his hands, fused by hard work and dedication, could empower him to thrive and not just survive. And even though at one point his family had been homeless, he walked away from this program dreaming of owning his own auto shop. And I love that. You know, if any of these students were non-committal, half engaged, willing to settle for someone else to think things through, they would never have made it through to the finals. And I'm confident that that teacher and that technical education program changed their lives because that teacher infused into them problem-solving skills, which is making them future-proof. Let's pull another video from the vault. Now, I wonder if any of you are watching this video and you're like me, you like to stir up some crap. In this next video, young people are working with the ultimate remote control vehicle that's actually designed to stir up the manure pit.
I'm standing in front of Noon Industries here in Ontario. We are a leader of manure equipment. We make a variety of different types of manure equipment, from tanks to pit pumps, lagoon pumps, and a whole lot of different things. One of the neat products we make is the lagoon crawler, which is right behind me. Its main purpose is to mix and stir lagoons together. It is fully remote controlled, and on the display screen we can see all the different features of the crawler, the engine speed and everything. We have a nozzle out front here that pushes the crawler forward or backwards when it's floating in the lagoon. We have the wheel drives that will help lift the crawler up and down to help get over the embankment into the lagoon. One of the most rewarding things for me is being able to dream the product. You dream it up, and then you get to design the product, and then I get to see the product come to life. full circle and come to life right in front of my eyes. I'm Jane Schwerin, and I'm a mechanical engineer at Noon Industries.
I think one of the things that makes me so excited when I meet these young people is that they're taking tools like CAD and robotics, and they're imagining new ways to do things. But if they had ever wondered, when will I ever use geometry? Why do I need to engage in math? Trust me, these questions are answered in the middle of designing, building, and fabricating a real-world product like that lagoon crawler. Their plans would go nowhere if it was only the work of one person, the ability that they have to build a product. It's only successful in the future because of their ability to work together, united around a vision. I think that's another thing that I've witnessed in my travels as a filmmaker. I have seen how many students, powered by technical education, are actually changing the world.
So in 2008, I was contacted by the African Center for Renewable Energy and Sustainable Technologies, or ACRES, in Cameroon. They had purchased 2 vehicles, but when they got them there, they didn't meet the exact function that they wanted them to meet. It needs to be locally made. You got to have everything 100% that we can get in country. I realized the opportunity both to get our engineering students involved, but also the difficulty of it.
And at this point, this is the only vehicle like this. You had one, and that was your
And this was it. We're in conversation with a partner. It's like, well, I don't think we can get that square tubing anymore. We're going to have to go to angle iron. The students rose to the occasion. So, okay, well, let's redesign it now. It'll be easier than trying to do it there.
With the pressure on, the students pushed hard to have the modifications completed in the few days left before their scheduled trip back to Cameroon.
Well, we go to Cameroon. First morning after their flight the day before, we're out shopping, and we're like, we cannot find the size anywhere.
The realization that all the effort put in on the redesign of the pup would not pay off as planned was a hard blow. Refusing to give up, they dug their heels in and worked with the materials they could find.
When we first realized that the size that we needed wasn't there, it was really a surprise because we thought we had already changed it to be, locally appropriate. Now we were having to change it again on the fly.
All of a sudden, people stepped up, people found their niche, and this person contributed this. And I will say the attitude was there's like, we are going to get this done. They asked the shop to stay open later. We work Saturdays there. It's like, we want to get this thing done. We want to overcome these challenges. And they're going to remember that lesson the rest of their life. The last day before we left, we actually got to drive the vehicle out of the shop. It was a huge milestone. I was proud of the students, and I think they were all at that point cheering and clapping as well, so they knew what milestone they had accomplished.
John Lumkes and his team not only overcame the challenges of doing an in-field redesign, but they had most importantly proven the fact that there was merit to the concept. While the pup was not yet completed, this model would give the team the knowledge and experience they would need to continue on their mission.
Let me ask you this question. Do you see yourself in any of these students? Do you want to study engineering and build things like Jane is doing at Noon Industries? Have you, like Tyler, dreamt of being an entrepreneur to start your own business? Or are you worried about global issues and want to make a difference? Are you tired of learning and want out of school because it feels irrelevant? I know that if you talk to the students who worked in that pup project, they'll tell you, because they were STEM strong, they are making a difference in the world, and they can make sense of the future that they're facing. I have watched students in the arts and entertainment classes build films, watched compassionate young men and women learn basics in healthcare. I see students repair broken cars for their friends and their families. I see future-focused young people learn about airplanes and aerospace. I have watched students compete in competitions where they cook and learn to serve, build robots and watch their carefully crafted machines get destroyed in the ring. And I love watching it because they're learning so much about themselves. They learn to fail gracefully and move on. They are learning what they want to do and what they don't want to do. I've heard many students say, I've worked hard at this, but I know it's not for me. However, I'm glad I tried it. It's good to try, fail, try again, and it's okay to change your mind. The biggest tragedy of all, though, would be if you never tried in the first place. And Another tragedy to me is when students study something for 4 years and then they finally go into the real world and realize they don't like it. You need to know that there are many pathways. Success and being future-proof, it might look like going to university or college. Perhaps it'll be an apprenticeship or going straight into work. But you know what? I met, toured, filmed with thousands of businesses, and all of them say the same thing. We're looking for people with life skills. And so programs like apprenticeships or career and technical education, co-ops, internships, the value is that you get to work on tangible projects. They'll help you develop future-proof skills of problem solving, time management, communication, teamwork, critical thinking. You need to allow yourself to try and fail and move on because each of you are unique. You're uniquely gifted, and when you connect your mind with your hands, you will find that you are future-proof. And so as we wrap up, I want to say thank you to you guys, not only for spending some time with me today, but for learning through the lens, through storytelling. I want to say a special thank you to our partners, ABB, Mastercam, NCATC, SME Education Foundation, and the NTMA. I'm looking forward to finally getting back out on the road, taking the Edge Factor tour bus to your community, and I hope that one day I'll have the privilege of telling your story as you push back the edge of what's possible.